revising the budget to come up to that.
Okay,
So this is
now I'm on board.
the contract,
But you know what? I got it just right
and
now.
this is the EMS contract,
And we're
which
live.
includes the 435. And the revenue. Doesn't it?
So you got it broke down into two separate contracts? You got it one in the personnel? Is that what you're doing? I
This isn't right.
was gonna say, this is,
You wanna give us more? Oh,
Bill, it still says 433,600 instead of 435.
Curtis.
I thought we fixed that the last week.
We did, but we never changed it on your budget.
Because did you send us a new budget today
Did you get my message, number
Which-
one?
For the budget of 2022,
Yes.
I think I did change it. Let me,
Well, it doesn't matter because it's just for the board that we can change that. So, yeah, since I
why am I pulling that up? I can
Since
do it on
I
my phone.
didn't get the budget, we printed this out, but I didn't realize that this number hadn't been changed yet.
And that means you gotta change it down in the,
So then it'll have to be changed on the expense side too. Where does that come into play?
We added it into this part here.
Okay.
I actually have it, I can send it to you.
Yep, I didn't even,
I didn't look at it either. I forgot that that's the one he gave us at the meeting.
but I was showing Jim where they matched and guess what?
They didn't, did they, Jim?
While you guys will be reviewing the April minutes under planning board, the way that the first sentence is stated, it sounds as if the planning board selected Candy Ross when it's the town board that does the selection. So if that can be changed in the
In the minutes?
in the minutes, yeah.
I didn't read it that way.
Chairman Evans reported selecting resident Candy Ross to replace Peter Ward.
We'll correct that when we do it.
Where are you? M what?
okay.
Oh, planning board, no M. Chairman Evans reported selecting.
Should say recommending, then the town board selected.
Reported. So Chairman Evans,
So selecting should be recommended.
Yeah,
That's right.
so Chairman Evans recommended selecting resident.
reported.
Well, actually, that didn't even happen last month, that was March. So, I mentioned that it was her first official meeting.
I have it.
Okay,
You want me to
that's
send it
okay.
right- Send it right to you.
Send it to Bill.
So you may want to just say Chairman Evans reported that it was resident Candy Ross's first official meeting. That replacing Peter Ward on the planning board, that would be.
Okay, so she was appointed the month before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this so that you don't get confused. 'cause that was the wrong
It's too late,
numbers.
I'm already confused.
You're in the club.
So it was her first planning board meeting?
It was her first official planning board, yes.
Oh, maybe I will sit down there.
You got that whole side to yourself, Connie.
Yeah, nobody's coming.
Yeah, but I'm on, I don't want to be on that.
No, go down there so we look at your back then. Actually, yeah, you would, didn't you?
working out, Kevin?
Good. Really good.
How much you guys getting that for?
470.
Here, as a
Hey,
highway,
Matt,
as a highway guy, I'll let you
roofing
open it.
materials up about 30% right now?
You're supposed to, I believe.
Probably,
Could be.
and you know,
I think you
probably
were.
gonna have,
The selection of,
I think.
yeah, there's no selection out there right now either.
yeah, you're gonna go down me.
It was the steel metal when you
Yeah,
got.
I think I'm gonna recommend that we hold off till next year on replacing these roofs and just take the panels off.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then, like certain T's not building into their, no synthetic felt, so,
Yeah, it's just gonna get worse
yeah,
before it gets better.
it's gonna get ugly.
And steel,
Sorry.
I think we ought to hold off on that. Just take those panels down and then patch the roof.
Without fuel.
yeah.
Well, a lot of it's trucking. Right now, there's 102 loads for every truck available.
Yeah.
Yep, that's really correct.
The meeting with Palmer and a client. Patty might be there, I'm talking to somebody else, maybe Palmer, he might be done.
I guess I never knew that the rims with tires on them weren't to exceed 16 inches, Bill.
Cause you saw it on there.
Yeah. I knew the 19-inch rule.
It's kind of a small tire.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, for,
You have a copy of that for me?
Bill gave me one.
There you go. Yep, he's got a copy for you.
Thank you.
I know in the past we've taken bigger.
2019, is this just something to go by then? There's
Long
no-
one.
Oh,
Yeah, you can go by
I
that.
didn't look at the date.
Good job, Patty. Yeah. Yeah, that was what we went off of and changed it, I
Okay,
forgot.
I think we're gonna get quite a few because we didn't have it last year.
That's fine, that's why we got the 2 trailers.
so is the county advertising this?
No. Well, like,
How many
for town residents, it's only for town residents,
What's that?
How much they get for trailer?
What are they getting for a trailer, Bill? No.
2,500.
So now we do need that.
15, right?
And
I need to scan this to Palmer.
yes, I wrote a little note for us.
Okay, well, maybe way back.
So in the past, the county would
Okay,
put.
What'd you change?
So-
Right.
Changed the town contract,
So
it
they don't
did
have
say
anything to do with that.
433, 600.
We can, I'll make that phone call.
So now
Ask
this
before you do it,
435
Because we
equals
really
that
did in the
435.
past, because license paid for it.
So this is their
Right.
entire
When I
budget.
quit paying for
and
it,
this is
we had to
just
start
the town
paying for our own
contract share.
trailers,
Okay.
And I assumed advertising, but I could be wrong, because we didn't do one last year, so.
And then
it's
the
been
other
2 years.
place
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the
yeah.
expense
What's that?
changed.
So they're saying this,
Yeah.
they have this
County
listed as
doesn't have
other
anything to
income.
do
This
with
is
it.
their
Right,
income,
that's what I'm.
But she
Yes.
was wondering if they would
the
advertise
money
it.
that they
No, they're
make,
not gonna
Yes.
advertise it.
We need to
435,000.
just put it in the penny saver and.
Well, the 435 is income from the town
Just-
contract.
Okay. All right.
So
Yeah,
these
the
are the
county,
numbers.
the county watches
Oh, that's
the
fine.
hands of the whole program.
And Curtis is here to explain any of these.
That's fine.
It's
And
not
this is
legal numbers.
payments that they receive
No, not
Yep.
really.
For
Just to advertise.
For billing.
for billing,
Mhm.
it's
It's gonna get to
150,000.
Yep.
People.
Okay. Wouldn't this come off from
Like
this
that,
as
okay.
part of their operating costs? This is like a revenue.
So
Because
the
that is a town
27,000, the 448 and 149 total the 624 for
Right.
total income.
Okay. And then what are they asking for from us?
That is what they're asking.
Hey,
The town
Candy,
contract
in
is
the
what they're
future,
asking.
if you're gonna come, let me know.
Yes, yep.
All right.
And
I
this
wanted to
is,
make sure they weren't asking for that.
no, that's their,
Okay, that's the total of everything.
Yep. And then this is-
Revealed all that?
No, I understand it
this is
now.
the 435 where that number comes from.
Right. Okay.
So 1, 2, 1, 2. Do I have my original?
Oh, Lisa contacted me, she sent me a message at home, that, she cannot be there, she has another meeting that conflicts with it, but she did go to, the planning board.
Go get that.
And Lisa Rose, did she come to the planning board?
Yes, she showed up, she was looking for the
Yes.
village, so we sent them over there only to find out that they moved their meeting. And didn't publicize it. Dick Zavato, reached out to them, from what I understand, because he contacted me.
I saw that.
On Facebook and tried to communicate when their next meeting was, but we invited them back if they wanted to, and we also told them that the town board would really be the
That's
ones
what I
to
was,
do
yeah.
I mean, we'd be happy to hear about what they're planning on doing and everything, but coming before the town board would be what we recommended. And of course, the village. So. But yes, they did stop it.
Hey,
How are you?
good, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Same old stuff, I guess.
What's that?
Same old stuff.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah, busy.
Yeah, good.
Get it while you can, you know?
You have to.
That's what I keep telling myself, to drive myself into the ground,
You
you
gotta
know?
go golfing though.
Hopefully, I keep telling myself I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Haven't played it off. You been playing?
Yeah, we started our league. Got
Nice.
3 weeks in that.
You know, that's what's nice about the league, because then
You get out there every week at least. Yeah. We played 9 holes before league and we played 9 holes in league, so we played 18 holes in league.
Once a week.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go, I don't go.
Yeah.
Time just flies by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we start this meeting. We'll do a small prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Lord, we ask you that you help us in conducting town board business today and guide us in the right direction. In God's name, amen.
Amen.
Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You gotta.
16 months.
I have to start the meeting today as 2 of our board members are missing today. One's out of town and the other one has to be excused. George and Jim. Privilege of the floor. I do have a note, and I went to get it and I forgot it just now. Lisa Rose.
Did you say she's not coming?
Yeah, I just told her that.
Well, she's on the agenda, so we'll just change.
She notified me tonight at Holmes.
She asked for privilege of the floor. Obviously something happened and she couldn't make it. But she was asking if the town would support her in selling meat and produce at the old Candor Market. So I don't see why that wouldn't be a problem.
Now, she needs a letter from the town for a grant or something, Connie was telling me.
Something like that. She needed a letter of recommendation.
Is that what it was?
Support,
Letter of
You know.
support.
a letter of support.
So just to let everybody know that we don't have any problem doing that, correct?
No, it'd be great to have a store again.
Anybody else have any privilege of the
Yeah.
floor? Nothing else, we'll move on to the minutes.
Before we do that, do we want to amend the agenda for new business?
Seasonal road.
Do we have to put that in down at the bottom then?
Yeah.
to appoint a public hearing date to open seasonal use roads.
And that'll just be under new business?
Yep.
Okay.
I wrote it in. So when people were looking at the minutes, there was a question on the planning board. I believe Ed told us that, it says in here that he reported selecting. We had selected her
Month before.
month
Month
of,
before, yeah.
Month
It was
before.
her first official meeting.
he was reporting that she was at the first, that was our first official meeting.
Sorry, Connie, I know I talk quickly.
So,
So Ed, how would you,
yeah, how do you want her, how should it be worded?
Chairman Ed Evans reported,
Candy Ross's first planning board meeting to replace Peter Ward.
or she attended.
Attended her,
Attended.
yes.
Attended, okay.
So who's gonna move in second to correct it?
Well, see if there's any more questions on it, right?
Oh.
Do we know at once?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is the financial report. Vouchers are here with only 3 signatures today, but that's a quorum, so we're good. Note there was no budget transfers. And we have received the town clerk's report. Accept that. We need a motion to accept the financial report.
I move we accept.
Are you talking about the vouchers?
The vouchers.
Oh, yeah, he did say that. Different.
What did I say?
You said the financial reports instead of the vouchers.
Vouchers.
I move we approve the vouchers.
I'll second it.
Strozel,
Aye.
Reichert,
Aye.
and Douglas.
Aye.
Assessors Committee.
I spoke to Denise today and she said that to date, she's only received 2, applicants that will be going in front of the variance board
Oh, for grievance day.
for grievance day, yes.
Not too many people know, 2 weeks ago, Denise fell at home and broke her thumb, arm, wrist in that area. So she was out for a few days, but she was supposed to be out for 2 weeks, but can't keep a good woman down, so she came to work today. Buildings and grounds.
We were going to try to have the roof replaced this year, but the cost of shingles is up about 30% and expected to go up higher. And there's a shortage of choices of materials as well. So I think we ought to hold off for a year on that, but I think we ought to remove those solar panels and just patch the roof for this year.
So the leak that we had this winter, was that because of the faulty roof? Is something gonna,
That was because of the panels.
okay.
Yeah,
So the roof shouldn't give us any problems for another year?
I hope. Shouldn't, but I hope we don't have a winter like we had last year.
The solar
I
panels
know.
backed up the snow, so it wouldn't go off the roof, and then
Yeah.
that allowed water to.
And that's happened before.
So we are gonna get them off.
I'll give you a hand.
Hold off on roof.
Just
When
need a-
we do
need a
that,
loader,
we needed something to get them over here.
big
Yeah, I'll
load,
bring
big
the
loader.
But
That's
now
what we
we're
did last
awful,
time.
our ground's awful wet out here right now.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's let it dry out. There's no big hurry now.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't snow.
It could.
Good.
Okay, and we'll get those solar panels off. Something else I was gonna do and I didn't get to it. I'm gonna call an electrician with a bucket truck to come and fix that light in the parking lot. Just have a company come and do it. We just can't seem to get it any,
Yeah,
so I just wanna report that. I plan on calling somebody next week. I'm not quite sure who, but I'll try to find somebody to do it.
And we're also still working on getting quotes for the ceiling tile replacement, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've got a contractor that I need to call.
get Kevin Letty.
Well, I thought of that and I haven't called him yet, and I should call him first.
I would
see if
say,
he would do it.
he's a town employee, basically.
Yeah.
So start there.
All right. I'll start with Kevin and I'll just have to call him Monday and see if he'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. I guess that's it. Anybody else got anything on buildings and grounds?
Not to be a pain, Kevin, but the handicap sign,
Yes, I know.
okay,
We just got posts, believe it or not. We're having a tough time getting signposts.
okay.
I tried to get through that quicker, Kevin. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was like, should I or shouldn't
No, I
I?
pulled in
I
today to
did.
pick up Marty and I was like, damn it.
Okay, we'll move on to the code enforcement office committee.
Not much to report, but you have his monthly report. In the packet.
Oh, yeah. Right now. Okay,
What's the report?
Just his hours and stuff, where he was.
I was curious how many permits.
9.
Okay, 9 permits for a total of 775.
We'll give this to you, Ed.
He also mentioned that there were some property maintenance letters that went out. And,
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that, Ed? See how you got the report?
Nope. Keep asking him to put it in my mailbox for our meetings, but he keeps forgetting, so.
Yeah, he usually hands that to us like yesterday,
Okay.
like the day before the
So what you're
meeting.
saying is I may have one in my mailbox now.
There's a possibility. Okay, Justice?
Not much, just we had the resignation from Brianna Spears, the deputy court clerk. And we appoint Lynn Shea.
Yeah, we have a resignation letter here from Brianna that Monday was her last day.
Don't the judges appoint those?
They
We conferred with her.
they recommend, or they, Gary actually came to us with, to hire her, and then the board has to approve it.
Actually, I have a question. When the second person was appointed for the court clerk a while ago, it was supposedly said in here that it was because there was so much backlog of stuff that needed to be taken care of, that that's what you needed. Do you still have a big backlog, or I hate to say it this way, but what the hell? Do you really need 2 people? I'm just curious.
Yes, you do need 2 people. The court clerk before, I don't believe, utilized the deputy as well as they do now. So, yes, they're pretty busy
Okay.
And they share it with the village as well.
for another year.
Yeah, so it's not just the town, it's the village too.
And I believe the court clerk is working less hours than the old clerk used to.
Yeah.
Because she can only make so much money.
Right, yeah.
So that leaves
Okay.
more work for the deputy to do. but we're
I
paying,
was just curious
Okay.
because of the kind of a historical
Yep.
follow-up.
good memory.
Hey, you know, money don't grow on trees.
So Jim, if you would make a motion for that?
I make a motion, we accept her resignation.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
You want a motion to appoint Lynn?
Opposed? Yes, we need a
Make a
motion.
motion to appoint Lynn Shea as deputy clerk.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on. Good. There's nothing else in that Justice Department. Anybody have any questions about the Justice? If not, we'll move on to the cemetery. George and Jim's committee, and neither one of them are here.
Do you know if George gave the go-ahead on mowing that cemetery?
I don't know that, but I'm not saying he did. I would think he'd try to stay by the schedule. Extra mowing would come towards the end, if I remember right.
Okay.
That was
So,
a contract.
because it was under a contract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
that should get moved. It's contractual. so.
it's up to George as a committee member, and I haven't heard from him.
The mower guy called and said it was kind of high and he wanted to know if we wanted him to do an extra mow.
No,
And we said, talk to George.
Oh, okay. Because Memorial Day, they like to do it. Make
Yes.
sure it's mowed for that.
And as much rain as we've had and the grass growing.
Maybe we-
So
you should- Why don't you give George a call and find out if he has, and if not, we can call him back.
Well, like I said, I mentioned it to the guy and I told him to call George Williams and give him the number.
Oh, okay.
Because George is in charge of cemeteries
Okay,
and he has a right to, as far as I'm concerned, make that decision.
sure.
One thing I got on cemeteries, George mentioned the headstone down in Woodgate.
Yeah.
Woodbridge, pardon me. And, we went down and somebody had stood it back up, but you can't stand it proper the way it broke. So it's sideways. It's not, so the whole base is gonna have to be replaced. I don't know how long it's gonna stand.
How big is it?
Pretty big. It's, 2/3 the size of this table, so
Wow.
pretty thick. We rocked it a little bit, it seems safe enough, but if you turn it to the original position, because the way it was broke, the way when that tree came down, it wouldn't stand. So somebody already did it, I don't know who, evidently they were pretty beefy, so,
Or more than one person.
yeah, it was definitely more than one
I
person.
wonder if the tree guy did it.
I don't know.
Because he had a little forklift there or whatever. He had
Yeah.
a little picker.
And it's not, it's not completely 90 off, but it's not. It's
So let me
stood
ask you a
back
question.
up.
Is it safe to walk through there without
It is,
falling?
you know.
That's all our concern is.
Yeah, I didn't think it was unsafe. I mean, if you rock it hard, you could tip it over fairly easy, but the wind or, something like that, to me, didn't seem like it was gonna knock it
Okay.
over.
I just don't want anybody to walk by and
Yeah.
hurt anybody. Okay, I'll investigate that more with George if I remember.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll move on to the highway.
do you wanna start with the 284s from last time, Bill?
Yes. Sounds like a plan.
So this is,
New and approved.
okay,
Now, does this
with
have
what
the-
we approved last month included.
Is this
No.
added on to last month or?
Yeah, this will be an add-on, Patty. This is
Okay.
new.
Because we need to vote on both though, Bill?
We do.
Okay. Because we
Well,
never
the whole
officially
two
voted.
eighty-four agreement, which,
Did you give
it's Brink
Jim
Road.
one of these? 284
I
agreement?
thought I did, yeah, nice, Jim. I thought I'd give you one.
See one.
Right there.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
It's too close, right in front of me.
And I take it you don't have last month's, or the last
No,
one,
I
right?
don't.
Well, I'll,
It should have been in your mailbox.
but I can
I
go,
checked my
I can
mailbox.
go through
It is
it.
there. This is everything with my mailbox.
Kevin has on the old one, which was last month's, the Brink Road, and the intersection up to Slate Road, for a cost of, I'm just gonna round everything up at 52.5.
Excuse me.
I can give you this, Connie, if you want it. You probably have one. And, that's gonna be a cold mix,
from last month, Kelly.
And Eckler Road. Is that the whole distance of Ratio Road? Kevin, distance of 1.4 miles?
Yeah.
2 courses of stone and oil for 27,300. Tower Hill Road. That's the whole road to the dead end. And that's gonna be
Not very
two
long.
courses of stone for 62,300. Union Hill, Slate, at Slate and landing towards Union Hill Road. 0.7 of a mile, stone and oil, 17,200. Now if you wanna move on to the new one, Kevin,
Okay.
for the addition to this. Reservoir. And that's from where?
The bottom to Slate. The bottom here,
Oh, yep, okay,
to
yep.
Slate Road.
All right, now I see. 3.2 miles for $105,200. That's a cold paved mix. And the next one is Dry Brook. 0.5 mile from Row Road, a distance of 9/10. Row and Row Road. Is that what that is, Kevin?
No, 0.5 of a mile from Roll Road. So about in front of Bart's house, a little bit up above Bart's.
Oh, because you did from Barton up
Yep.
last year, right?
Yep.
All right. And you're doing a cold mix for $88,530. Kelsey Road. And that's the full distance to the
No.
Coles Bridge,
No,
commencing,
we're doing the bottom half and the top half combined are for 0.9 of a mile, but it's still listed as one road.
okay.
Hmm.
Have we done part of that before? It just doesn't need it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For $19,200.
Got it.
Lower Cranes Nest Road, 1.1 mile. 42,200.
Where they going for a settlement out, Kevin?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like it to go a little farther, Matt?
Nope.
So, did you total this up?
315.
Well, that's almost 315,000. Is that between the two of them?
No, the 315, 256 is what we have left after the, what was the initial bill?
316.
There you go.
So you're looking at 631
Yeah.
and change.
And we were able to increase this because the governor gave us back,
Yep, back what we had, and we also got the paved New York, or extreme winter New York was in question, we got that also.
okay. And they had said that they were gonna withhold, or they were gonna cut the CHIPS budget, was it, by 20%?
They did last year.
They did last year, but they gave it back to
They
us,
gave
and
it
that's
back to
why
us
you were
this
able to
year.
add on
Yep.
these roads. Okay, just to explain the.
Yeah, they held out last year because of Corona.
Yep.
And
Two
I
sheets to
believe
sign
the
it.
federal government payout, whatever you wanna call it, is where this money
Okay.
came from. Don't hold me to that, Patty, but
Okay, yeah, no, that's how I took it too. I just wanted to explain
yeah,
why we added on these roads.
If somebody would make a motion to accept the 284 agreement?
I'll make a motion that do we accept both of them?
Because we didn't do the other one.
Okay,
last month.
that we accept, just say both?
Yeah.
The 284 agreement, it's all one now. Everyone, right?
Yeah, 284 agreement is good. If you want to figure, I can, what'd I tell you? It was 316 plus that one over there is 315. and change. I think it was
631.
200 something, isn't it? Does it say 2 something on there?
I don't have that one yet.
Jim, you got it right there? 315 and what?
I gave it to her.
Nope, there's the 315.
And how much? 315, 2 something?
Oh, 256, sorry.
256.
Yeah,
So like I said, it's 631, 256.
631, 256. You know Patty. Okay, I would like to make a motion that we accept the 284 agreements totaling $631,256.
I'll second.
631,256.
256.
Stoll,
All right.
Riker,
Aye.
Douglas,
Aye.
The next was the grader that Kevin put out for bid. And he received only one bid for that grader.
Was that from the same people phew.
And that was sealed when I handed it to Bill.
And the bid is for $170,000. My question,
Just one you wanted?
Yeah, that's the one that we have.
and there's an availability of any other ones being around, there
Yeah, I know.
isn't any.
It's a struggle.
And they will, because if you accept that tonight, they will take the rental that we paid off from that.
That's what I was gonna ask you. I think that was $4,000 or something like that.
5,400 actually.
That was.
Yep.
Someone wanna make a motion to accept this bid?
I move we accept the bid for the grader.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
do you want to put a price in there or?
Oh, you can put it in for 170.
Stoll,
Aye.
Riker,
Aye.
Douglas,
Aye.
Did we want to include in that less than May rental, or that's already written in there?
It wasn't
well, I
on,
would include it.
Okay,
it'll be
Sorry.
taken off there. I didn't look at the back pages of there, there might be one in there. Yeah,
I changed your motion.
Okay.
maybe when they put that bid out, Connie, they may not have that figure in there.
Yeah.
Do you hang on to that? Does that go to Gene afterwards?
I'll give it to Jean.
Okay. The second thing I talked to Kevin about is possibly a mini excavator. The excavator that he has is really big, takes up a lot of the road, it's steel tracked, and come summertime, it's hard to do any ditching and doing road work without tearing up roads, and as you see how much it costs to fix them. Possibly getting a small mini excavator to ditch with a rubber track. And we haven't investigated it too much yet, but we have brought it to his and my attention. We talked about it.
What size ditching bucket do you have on the big one?
The 6-footer.
6-footer?
Yeah.
You want to get some at least 4 or 5 feet, I would think.
Yeah. Bill and I talked, the county actually has a pretty nice one. And I just haven't been down to even get a number off, and I know that it's a Caterpillar, Jim, but what number,
Rubber track.
what size?
Rubber track.
Yeah, rubber track is a mini. They have 2 or 3 full-size excavators, and they've got a mini, and they're actually talking about getting another mini.
They're handy.
They
You
are.
can do a lot of different things. Get a thumb on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next question is to make sure it's big enough to reach the boxes on our big trucks. If you get too small one, you won't the dirt
Oh,
falling out of your ditching bucket before you get in the box.
Yeah, and theirs is a large mini. I don't know if you wanna call it a mid-size, you
Yeah.
know, something like that, but it's a little larger than like yours,
Right.
you know.
So I told him to go ahead and start investigating and getting an idea what one would cost, and we can talk about it. Well, if there's no more questions about the highway,
I got a couple more things.
go ahead.
The second week in June, tentatively, we were scheduled the first week in June, it's now the second week in June, thanks Mother Nature. We're gonna start paving, small portions here and there. And, oh, shoot, I just lost the name. Marty and I went up today and finally cornered the guy at the end of Newman Road on what he was gonna do with the milk truck. So we're gonna start that project next week, Monday or Tuesday, whenever they get done with the project that they're working on now, we'll go up and start working on that road. But I've been up and talked to him like 3 times, and he wasn't exactly sure whether he was gonna put a circular driveway in, a one driveway with the turnaround above it, so he finally figured out, I finally told him, I said, look, you gotta get the milk truck driver up here and figure out what he wants. And he finally did, so we're all good to go on that one. So we should be there a week roughly, and that'll be ready to go.
How much of the road are you opening there? I forget. A couple hundred feet is all?
Yeah, what was it, almost 700 feet, I wanna say, Joe.
Okay.
I can't remember now.
And then a turnaround on the end.
Yeah,
So you're helping, you doing the turnaround, or you, and also helping with driveways?
no, we gotta widen the road, and we're putting in a turnaround.
Opening up that seasonal road, 700 feet.
We're not going as far as we first thought. He angled the driveway more down the field, so there's probably 100 to 150 feet that we're not going up and above them.
Is the easement on him?
It is, it is.
Kevin, is he gonna knock that down? It was pretty steep going from the road.
He is, I personally think the milk truck is in for a long winter.
If he doesn't change that grade it is.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's all I have for you.
Just a question, because it's been brought up about Southwick Road. Is it feasible to open up that road?
The tough part about opening that one is that there's a landowner between where it's maintained and where she bought. And we're gonna have to get a hold of that landowner, and there's gonna be significant trees that are gonna have to be removed. If the landowner balks about that, it may turn into a process. We're gonna be limited on how far we can push it over the other way. I mean, it's a planted field.
Do you know who the landowner is? Are they local or are they?
I had a name, Jim, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't, I
Marty
just
and I
wonder
looked it up a
if they're
while
local
ago.
or not.
So you're talking about moving the bank and you have to move it over one side or another?
Yeah.
So rather than move it, I mean, can you haul it out? Is it a high bank that you have to widen it out?
Right.
So you'd have to move that bank, either haul it away.
Well, yeah, it'd have to be all the way.
Okay, because you was talking about moving it over to the other side, or
Yeah, if we could take the trees out and move the road that way, it would be better, it would be flatter. We wouldn't have to worry about the bank caving in and, putting up so much riprap and that stuff to stabilize the bank. It would be easier, even after we take it, with the work of taking the trees out, it would be substantially easier than moving that entire high wall bank over. So that may be an obstacle,
plus we have to go by our right of way, correct?
correct?
How much of Southwick are they talking about?
I think that was about 900 feet again.
Hmm.
It's a ways.
Yeah.
The tough part down there is gonna be a turnaround. Everything that she bought slopes away from the road,
Yeah,
We're gonna want our turnaround fairly level.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to build that up. But she's gonna have to understand that there again, we're gonna have to build it up, and I think our numbers are gonna be a little higher than our typical numbers for a turnaround, because we're gonna have back slope, we're gonna have falling off on that. That's why I tried to encourage Marty. I said, before she gets too carried away, I'd like to, meet with her up there
I believe we should.
and try to get this alleviated. Figure out what exactly her intent is.
Okay.
Do we change the town policy for opening up?
It's gonna be changed. We're gonna do a new law, a new seasonal road law.
We're going to, but we're already approaching Kevin before we've done a law.
Yeah, that's on the agenda this evening to approve it probably for the next meeting.
Yeah, because what happened, Matt, is the older law had every 2/10 of a mile, it had to be worth so much money, the property that.
Right, where's the return on investment?
So then the second one, however, it got changed one time or another, it said to refer to the fee schedule. Well, there was no price on the fee schedule to open up seasonal use road. So the planning board has been working on that, and they took their time. They didn't hurry. They could have had it, if we'd forced it to get it done, it could have been done 2 months ago or better. But they took their time to get it right. And we haven't, Ed has actually sent it to me, but we, just like this week or last week or something. And we haven't gotten it out yet. I've been working on other things and I forgot all about it, actually. I gotta be honest with you. Until you showed up and I said,
Now the other thing with Southwick too, Bill, is the gentleman that approached Marty there last year. He's down the road further. He talked about possibly building a house up in there. So I told Marty we may even want to contact him and see what his intentions are. Instead of building a turnaround this year and another turnaround down below in a year or two, it may be worth our while to extend it another 300, 400, 500 feet and include his property.
To flatten out all up there.
It does down on his property. It would make the turnaround a lot easier, but there would be, again, more trees to take out.
Yeah.
Which would be on her property. Some of them would be on her property and some of them would be on his.
It's been presented to them, they start to do a public hearing.
yeah, we're gonna,
So it's gonna be under new business.
yeah, we're gonna put it up in, for public hearing.
Kevin,
Okay.
really quick, just on the community board, so where you're gonna be doing these cold paves, are you just gonna be getting that from an asphalt plant, or is that?
It's a plug mill mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be buying it from a asphalt plant, or you guys?
We buy the stone
Okay.
from Aki, and then they bring in the asphalt, bring in a machine to mix it all up, and
So
we
you do
haul
it there, okay, cool. Wasn't sure yet if it was the hot mix or.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. Anything else on the highway, guys? Nothing else. We'll move on to the dog. Jim's not here, and neither is Gloria, but I haven't heard a word. I don't think she turned in a report for this month.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, she's here, but it's just late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Planning board?
So, as we just talked about, we went through our final draft and voted unanimously to move the seasonal use road law to the town board. I sent it via email with the most recent copy. The biggest thing we talked about, getting rid of the fact that it's referring to the schedule of fees, including the cost of $100,000 per 0.2 miles.
So that's out of there.
No, that's what we put
Oh.
in.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes. We also did changes to the formatting. There was some old wording in there that really didn't apply anymore. So we got rid of that. And we made it a lot more readable, I should say. There was some language issues. So that now is in the hands of the board. We talked a bit about infrastructure as we have been at our meetings. And we agreed to request that the board consider using some of the American Rescue Infrastructure money to get a cost for developing or a mapping survey for the town for infrastructure. If not, maybe a grant writer. We also talked, Art had brought from the county level, the Finger Lakes National Heritage Area. He did a small presentation that was presented to them. It's going to be pretty much whole upstate region is being asked to provide a letter of interest for this national heritage area. So we, as a board, asked Art to write the letter of support, and then we will look at it at our next meeting, and then move that on to the town board to also sign off if there's interest. And then we talked about updating the site plan review action sheet that Marty uses and the planning board use, pretty much a checklist of what, because there's been a lot of changes over the years to some of the laws. We noticed that it does not include email address. It does not include a lot of like cellular number or anything like that. So we want to update it to bring it to our current day, so it has more information, easier ways to reach out to those that are doing a site plan, and also go through the process and make sure that it still matches with what it was when it was created. I think they said it was like 18 years ago or so. So, and that's what we have.
And I don't believe there's anything with the Board of Appeals. Now we'll move on to the old business. And Jim, we'll start off with that emergency plan.
Okay, well, I've got a draft done to include all the state requirements on the disease control. And I guess I just gave it to the town board members to review. And then I think we should form a committee to do a final review and a final draft and get it approved. So give me your feedback whenever you review it.
You only need 2 people for a committee, correct?
Yeah.
I would be on that committee with you, Jim.
Okay.
Nothing else with that. We'll move on to our EMS contract update here. We handed out to you guys their budget that included our negotiating price for the town contract in it. And we finally worked it out to be $435,000.
So the board decided to go to a contract?
At this time, Matt, for a 2-year contract, and then if they want to pursue a district after that, we can do that. If not, we'll move on to another contract for another 2 years after that. But to move along and get it ready for next year, we'll do that. We had a conversation today with Brad Pinsky, and he was more than happy. We sent the contract up to him, along with all the figures and everything, to look it over. And he's gonna take a couple days to look it over and then send back any other recommendations that he felt maybe the wording may be changed or anything like that. He also said that he'd be more than happy to come down for a public information. And we talked about next month in June. And I believe,
Either the 12th or the 19th, we can see who's open.
which we felt that, I feel that Saturday would be better unless somebody else has any idea that, I think it's chilly at night in June still. And then we'd have issues after 8 o'clock, and possibly, or 8:30, we'd have light issues. So I'd like to do it on a Saturday afternoon. If
Do it on the
anybody-
pavilion.
at the pavilion. And so what we need to do is throw a mailer out to all the residents to let them know that this is what's going to happen, and it's going to affect their taxes, and let them be able to come to the meeting and get the information they need, and hopefully satisfy them that we want to.
You're
Have an
trying to
ambulance.
do it in one session?
I'm hoping a public information will be enough, and then the next one will be a public hearing, which, once again, you'll be able to speak at the public hearing, and we won't have Brad there to answer those questions, so hopefully we retain as much as we can, or hopefully we can rely on Palmer to help us out there.
I really think you should have more than one public information meeting, because some people won't be able to come.
I understand that.
I mean, does it really cost the town anything to do that? I mean,
$250 an hour for him to come down.
okay, well, maybe you can have, I mean.
No, nothing serious, but yeah,
I'm just saying,
here's
one meeting, because this is important and
it
it's a
is
lot of
very
money.
important. So this allows you with two. This would allow you the public information, and
Right,
then it'll also allow you at the public hearing to speak. And at that time, the board will make a decision after that. They already had one at the school, the ambulance service did, and they publicized that on TV and all over, and not very many people showed up. There was enough room to supply at least 100 people there, and there was only a handful, which I felt was
sad.
very sad.
yeah.
I was expecting at the minimum of 50 people would show up there.
Yeah, but that was when people didn't know it was gonna affect their taxes. Now they know. I mean, well, maybe they don't even know. I don't know. I just think one more meeting would be a good
Well,
idea.
we'll make that call after the first public information meeting. If 10 people show
That sounds
up, there's
good.
no
As
sense in
long as
having a
as long as
second
you're gonna
meeting.
Consider it, not just say, oh, we're gonna have one meeting and then we're gonna have the public hearing and then,
Well, we had talked one or two. We're leaning more towards one now, but
okay.
might be open for a second one if there's lots of people.
Have you considered, is there an avenue for people to be able to respond if they can't make meetings, such as setting up an email for them to send an email?
We
or
talked about that this
suggestion?
afternoon with Denise, didn't we, Bill?
Yeah.
Actually, we said phone call, but an email might be even better.
Yeah.
Put that in the brochure.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
And then we could give those questions right to Brad, or maybe even be able to answer them ourselves.
Would you consider also doing it live on like a Zoom or something as well? That way, if there are people that just at home.
You need to have a way of responding to it.
Yeah, and the Zoom chat, which is how I did it at,
Well, I understand, but the town doesn't like Zoom, they like YouTube.
We don't have the Zoom, but if somebody would bring a Zoom in,
I mean, we set that one up fairly quickly for the other, and what I did was, I sat there with my phone and asked any question that came into the chat. I posted out to the committee, on stage, and it worked.
would we be able to Zoom from the pavilion?
Yeah, we should be able to.
Would
do
you
that.
be willing to be our Zoom person?
I think we can set something up.
Right, that's fun.
Thanks, Ed.
on the mailer, that's where we have to have the Zoom address, so we'd have to get that ahead of time before the mailer goes out.
Okay, and that'll be going out within 2 weeks
Okay, so.
is our goal.
Set up a
Yeah.
meeting and a password to be able to get in.
Okay.
We use, who's Zoom did we use?
Oh, it was,
Because he bought the subscription.
yes. Oh, jeez, I cannot remember his name. Oh,
That's okay, we'll
yeah.
figure it out.
We'll get it figured out.
So, if we can get a mailer out by the end of the month, and that would give them a 2-week notice if we did it on the 12th.
And even if we don't have the Zoom address on there, you could say it will be broadcasted on Zoom and we can use the social media networks and post the link in our YouTube and everything to have that Zoom link available to those that need.
You sure you don't want to go for the 19th, Bill? We're
19th?
just cutting ourselves
That's
right
That's
down.
Father's Day weekend, the
Oh,
19th.
Yep.
I think the Kentucky Derby's the 19th, not that that really matters, I
that
guess,
doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
Might get a whole 100 people there
Well,
maybe, I don't know.
Did he say anything about the 26th? I just said he said he was available those 2 weeks. Did you remember?
He said early June he was out, but then it doesn't sound like he'll be taking another vacation, right?
So June 26th, maybe?
Yeah, I won't be around then.
And nor I.
Well, that's
Not
not good.
that much, but-
Guess what, Patty?
June 11th. Holy moly.
No, not 11th.
12th, sorry.
That means we just have to work a little harder here.
Send me a copy of the brochure, I'll put on the website,
31 days.
please.
Yeah, if
When
we
it's
can get
done.
that,
I know.
if we can get that postcard together within a couple weeks, a week and a half, that get mailed out, that gives us a little time, at least a week or so for they get a notice. Okay. All right, so we'll start.
What time of day are you talking about?
That's a regular meeting, isn't it?
The 12th?
Yeah.
No, it's a
No,
Saturday.
That's a Saturday.
Oh, it's not supposed to be the 12th.
Wasn't it?
Yes, it is Saturday, June 12th.
Yeah.
Our meeting will be the 8th.
Okay.
On your mailer there, do you want to include the website or the email address for the squad too? Because we want to make sure everybody knows.
If we have that available by the time we print this, it'll be fine to put on there. We're talking about getting paper and cutting it and having this information, the address, and then having the information on the back. And then we'll just go with a card.
This
Hopefully.
is all brand new to us too.
But we're moving forward and that's what, we talked about that today with Denise and she thought that would be a great idea. We'd print them out and
Denise is gonna do the labels.
the labels and send them out and we'll send them all out to the residents and we'll do a bulk mail to you
We had
guys.
talked about piggybacking on the EMS's permit.
Perfect. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, because we do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You're talking about 1 o'clock or so?
I believe it's great. I want it to be warm and hopefully sunny and not sunny where the sun's in everybody's eyes. I didn't put down a time. Jim just mentioned it, 1 PM.
Just because we cannot always count on Mother Nature to do that. Just as a backup plan, thinking ahead of schedule, we want to check to make sure that maybe the fire room is available to do it there.
We could do
Just in
that or
case.
That's good.
we
idea.
can just do it at the town barn if we have to. We'll
Yeah, anywhere, but
Kevin
just to
come in
make
and
sure
get
we
the
have a
equipment out.
backup.
I will be out of town that weekend.
We'll hire your foreman.
I will.
Need backup location. To
Yeah,
be
so
determined.
make sure we'll put that in the flyer also. If it's raining, we'll be at the town barn, I believe, or we'll see if the fire department will allow us to use that.
They got tables and chairs and everything.
All right, we'll do the fire department
Well, that's
first
work for
and
us.
fire department first. We'll ask them and then we'll move on to the town barn after if we have to.
Or the school auditorium again. That one at least has Wi-Fi and everything set up.
That's not, that's
Okay,
where
I
I would
guess
go.
I think the town barn went to the third choice. Firehouse.
The acoustics in that building, not very good.
Yeah, that's true, it doesn't.
No, they're
echo.
not.
Yeah, and the school. Yeah, we'll get a hold of Jeff.
So you think you can set us up an email for questions to come into, Ange?
Sure,
Okay,
I'll try and think of a good, catchy, there we go, catchy email address. Yeah.
All right, so everybody's happy with that. We'll move on to the tire cleanup, which we've already voted that we were gonna do that, but I just wanna make sure we put it out here. And with the times and everything that's gonna go in the paper. I gave Connie when it's gonna be.
did I give you one of these, Connie?
She's got it right now. I gave her mine.
Okay,
If you would read what it is, so, because I don't
Okay.
have it.
so Friday, June 4th, from noon to 4 p.m. and Saturday, June 5th, from 8 a.m. to noon will be the tire and scrap metal cleanup at the highway garage. Then on Friday, June 4th, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Saturday, June 5th, 8 a.m. to noon, there will be electronics and paper shredding. And the drop off there will be at the Department of Public Works at 9 Rich Street.
In the village, across from the old Home Central.
Patty, can I have that copy? Oh, thank you, you didn't have, I'll
You
get up.
didn't have to, I would have got it.
No, it's good if I get up. Gets mine. Oh, there's one on the floor.
And we're verifying, don't quite post that yet.
No, I won't.
Okay,
Matter of fact, if I got an
we're
electronic copy.
like
it'd be better.
99% sure, but,
Yeah, see, I can put it in there but not make it live.
okay.
But if you send me a copy of it electronically, that would probably be better. Then I don't have to make up a post for the picture. No, so at least I can put it in the
So
inbox.
Patty did this?
Yeah, we did together.
Okay, so you'll have to send that to me too then.
Okay.
Since it's already.
Yep. it's in
Oh,
the-
for the paper.
Yeah, it's in the document.
I have a piece of paper that has different times, so I want to verify with the mayor. These are the times we got from him yesterday, but the piece of paper that I saw has different times, so I just need to verify the time again with him.
It does definitely say you have to show proof of resident,
Yes.
Yeah. especially on electronics. As you all know, that's gonna be very expensive for that.
And then they make a fortune.
Somebody is. So, okay. Under new business. Pick a time for the public hearing for the opening of seasonal use roads. And I
Do you
need,
need a section before the public meeting, or is it, that'd be open? It's the open.
That's the opening.
yeah, it's gonna have to be opened. Yeah,
So they're gonna go in cold and have no idea till they get to that meeting, what you're talking about.
well, we have to, actually, I think we have to publicize it in the paper.
And on the website.
Yes, and on the website.
Ed,
So I have to,
send you a new copy of that?
I need to print it out and
Okay,
get it out of the, out of my emails.
I also read it, believe it or not, during our entire meeting because it was live and that's what we have to do before we vote on it. I read the entire law.
I mean, we could always push the public hearing out to July. We got a lot on our plate in June.
Well, if you guys have people that are trying
Oh, that's
to
true.
do it,
That's
we
right.
didn't know that ahead of schedule, or else we would have done it earlier. We knew the one, but.
Well, and we were
Yeah.
kind of waiting for COVID
Mhm.
where we could have a public hearing.
So who read the numbers on the return on your investment?
Well, I would say the planning board would have to have figured that out as far as putting a figure on for the cost.
Did it change yet?
Well,
Well, originally,
it went up significantly. From what there wasn't a number that we had,
prior to that,
but prior to that, I think Art said it was
50,000.
It was 50, so it doubled.
So it's 100K per what?
Per
2/10.
0.2 miles.
Okay, that's what I wrote down. I just want to make sure.
But my question is, has anybody run that to see by Kevin's turnaround, the materials, the maintenance, what's your return on investment?
How many years will it take us to get that back through? No. I haven't sat down and figured that out.
Well, the point is, we want to open these roads anyway. I mean, you open the roads, you're gonna have more development, more people moving in, more houses being built.
Because we wanted to make sure that
So-
there would be a return on investment.
Well, yeah, but you can also go broke, Jim, putting roads all over everywhere. Well, that's why we have to
How many
approve
lots
them.
have they sold up there in Fairfield?
That's why we have to approve them. So,
No, and
we can say no.
We also put in the law that there is a limit to how much can be done in 1 year. So there is no.
Yeah, the guys can't be on that
Yeah, you
turnaround
can't
the
just
whole
keep
season when they got other work to do.
Approving. There is a limit. If I can find the email, give me 1 second.
Used to be a half a mile.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Sorry about
So,
the
so
delay.
this may be a dumb question while we're waiting for him. So if I had I wanted you guys to do that sort of thing, I would have to pay 100,000 per 0.2 miles? Is that what?
No.
Oh,
Your
There's no
house has to
value.
be
oh,
worth.
got it, thank you. I was a little worried there for a minute.
So you're gonna have the assessor review the plans and do an assessed value on that before you build the roads?
The market value of the improvements along the seasonal use road to be opened shall be no less than 100,000 per 0.2 miles as measured from the nearest year-round regularly maintained highway, including the improvements to be erected under the applicant's building permit. The length of the seasonal use road to be converted to a 12-month maintained road must connect with another 12-month maintained highway, or the town of Candor shall, prior to issuance of a building permit, be given an easement for a turnaround by the applicant or any third party of a size and at a location to be determined and approved by the town highway superintendent. Such easements shall be in a recordable form. Applicants shall pay all costs of obtaining and recording the easement. The form and content of the easement shall be acceptable to the town board. Let's see, let me get down to the. The town, no seasonal use road shall be opened or be required to be worked on by the town for year-round access until a certificate of compliance is issued by the code enforcement officer. In the event that no certificate of compliance is issued, the town of Candor has no obligation to open the road. Let's see, and we're looking for the map. I know it's in here. Tip. There's no 3-4. Town adoption is shall in no way limit the right of the town board on its own to erect development of seasonal use road. Here we go. The town of Candor shall in no event be required to open more than 1 mile of seasonal use road under this policy in any single calendar year. This is the same as what it was, but it was, wording was changed a little bit, but the 1 mile stayed the same. In the event, application to open seasonal use roads exceeds this limitation, applications will be acted upon in a first come, first served basis. Unsuccessful applicants shall receive no priority on resubmission in a subsequent application. And we took that line out. The unsuccessful applicant shall receive no priority on resubmission in subsequent application. That was taken out. This is the, not the final version that I'm reading right at the moment. But yeah, so 1 mile was the limit per year.
Well, I'll jump right on that tomorrow and make sure I get that emailed out to everybody so you can look at that.
So,
And
Send it to me.
we gotta send it to you and we have to publicize it.
so Bill, back to my question. Before the road, before you even propose it, you're gonna take the prints and give them to the assessor, and they're gonna value this home? I bring a set of prints and say this house is worth $400,000. It's only worth $200,000.
Who actually appraises that house by the print, as you're asking us, right?
Well, how are you gonna?
How would you did that in the past, Jim? Do you recall?
The building permit dictates the cost of it, and that's what the assessor uses to assess it. So if they tell you it's $400,000, that's gonna be on the building permit for $400,000, and that's what they're gonna be assessed at. That's how we did it.
Do you have a suggestion?
No.
So,
I don't think anybody would wanna do that, because
That's what
they're just hurting themselves, so.
I was gonna ask you that, because on the building permit, don't you try to
Yeah, that
make
kinda,
make it as low as you can? Just asking, I mean, I don't really know.
most people do, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's hard to sometimes, I guess. Maybe.
I would think Denise as an assessor would be able to
No, I agree with you. But, so you're gonna wait until there's a CO or a certificate of compliance before you're gonna do the road work?
well, yeah, they can't even get a permit until we okay the road work. I mean,
Wait a minute, whoa. You got the cart and the horse, you keep moving them back and forth. He said that you're not gonna do the road work until the certificate of compliance is given. You're saying that.
No, he said that the road won't be opened until the certificate of compliance. The work can be done, but the town does not have to open the road.
Okay, that Phil and Ed are speaking backwards of each other.
could be.
So tell me, Jim, give it to me in layman's terms. You're not gonna do the road work until the house is completed? Are you gonna?
That would be up to Kevin and how much work was involved with it and stuff, so. I mean, and the time of year and everything else would have a play in that.
Okay, so you do the road work and decide, oh, I'm not gonna build my house.
Well, they would have to have the foundation started and everything else before we even started
Okay.
anything.
I didn't think that was.
So maybe.
Yeah, I like,
So I pour a pad, there you go, there's my foundation. Just like that guy that says he wants to build on Southwick, but he wants to build a barn first and he may build a house later.
Yeah,
If he builds a barn first, he wouldn't get that road wouldn't be opened anyway.
I understand that, but he's pushing for it, he keeps saying he's gonna build a house. So you gotta determine what is the trigger.
This is true.
like Newman Road, I mean, we're gonna go out and start the work, but the house is, for all due purposes,
Yes,
3/4
80%
complete.
complete, exactly. But you can't have woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Right.
I see what you're saying, where a guy could back out if we did the road before he started out.
Or start it and then abandon it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been through a similar situation up on Eckler Road,
yeah.
you know, and we didn't maintain the road.
Mm-hmm.
But no seasonal use road shall be open or be required to be worked by the town for year-round access until a certificate of compliance is issued by the code enforcement officer. In the event no certificate of compliance is issued, the town of Candor shall have no obligation to open the seasonal use road for year-round access.
Okay, well, I'm with it, but that's, unfortunately, that's not what Bill said. That's one question.
Nice.
What's
Okay.
a certificate of compliance?
That the house was built to the uniform building code.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, now, and it's up to that, now, okay, another question. Is it up, can the homeowner take that seasonal use road and make it passable so he can get his concrete trucks in there?
No, he can't get on town roads and do work.
Kevin would have to do that.
Okay, well, how do I get my concrete trucks down Cranston?
I don't know. I mean, you could come up with so many different scenarios. I think
Well,
we should probably address this at the meeting when we do the review of the law.
I would think if a concrete truck couldn't get down through there and you were building a $300,000 house down there, I think you would say to the highway superintendent, hey, look, I know you don't have a road opened up yet, but there seems to be an awful lot of ruts and some trees. Can you trim that up so we can get the concrete trucks down there? I believe the highway superintendent would say, I will try to get there next week. Or when is your concrete truck coming? I would hope that he would work with a person instead of saying, well, when I get to it and you hold on your concrete truck.
Kevin, think about it, when culvert's on the top, are you gonna take a concrete truck?
Well, there's places, that's why they're seasonal roads.
That's
And
my
the-
driving point.
And that would be, until you meet the criteria of this new law, that would be a chance that you're willing to take,
Okay,
you know?
all right, that's fine, as long as that's the way it goes down, that's fine.
I mean, for the most part, our seasonal roads meet the requirement of a seasonal use road. There are pull-offs in, certain locations every 17,000 or 1,700 feet,
No,
I mean, there is some brush, there are some ruts, but
No, I totally agree with you, I'm just,
I don't, there's no limitation on weight. We don't have any weight limits,
I
you
totally
know.
agree. But you go in and start crushing culvert pipe,
I agree with you, it's been done in the past.
I know. Okay, that's my take on it.
We probably have more problems with GPS and local delivery trucks than anything else.
So, can we move on to a date for this public hearing? Would
We're gonna
it be,
do it at a board meeting?
would we do it at the next board meeting? June
June 8th?
8th.
And where are you gonna have that meeting?
Right here.
So there's only gonna be 6 members.
Not necessarily. If it gets worse than that, we'll have to improvise. We may have to move, for all I know. We'll move outside. Or maybe by June, we can be a little closer together.
I believe, doesn't the fire district have their meetings the same night as ours?
Yes.
Okay, so that wouldn't be an option.
Correct.
No, I think we'll be fine here.
Town barn would be an option.
I don't think we need to, I don't foresee that many people showing up for it. If we do, we can move out to the pavilion. That's all there is to it. Grab a chair and what we'll do is do the public hearing out there. After the public hearing, most people leave anyway, and we can move back inside.
So what time will that meeting be, Bill?
7. Because that's usually done first, if I remember right, correct?
And then our regular meetings follow.
Correct. Any more input on this?
Bill, somebody before the public meeting is gonna do the math, is that correct?
The map,
The math.
Math, how much money you're gonna spend to do your 210s to get your return. I mean, it's kind of a,
Kevin, every road's different, isn't it?
It is.
So,
well, you gotta give them an idea. If it's 50 years, 100 years, 200 years,
I guess we'll have to sit down and do some math, don't we, Kevin?
well, I mean, isn't that?
To answer that question at the thing. Right now, you have no idea what it's gonna cost you to go 0.4 of a mile.
In every situation, I mean, Jim's absolutely right. You know, the situation that we're in on Newman Road's very minimal expenses. The situation that we're on Southwick Road is gonna be a little bit more money because there's gonna be riprap involved, there's gonna be crossover pipes involved, there's gonna be other situations. Newman Road's right straightforward, it's widen the ditches and put in a turnaround, so it's, you know, every road's gonna be different. If we were continuing up Newman Road, up into the woods, then it would be a higher cost, you know? So it really depends on where the house was going and what part of what road was being opened. You know, I can come up with a general number, but
Well, the thing is, we're approving the law right now. We are not approving the guy to build a house on that Southwick Road right yet.
Right.
We don't have no information on it yet, how far he's going or anything like that. He was throwing it out at Marty and asking, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Right at the moment, we don't even know if we're gonna open it up yet. The gentleman was just in talking to Marty and asking questions about it. But we still need to address the law that we have, because it's not right. And the planning board spent at least 3 months on working on
Several
this.
times.
But where did that number come from?
The 100,000,
Where the 100,000 for 210, where did that number come
I
from?
think they just doubled it, didn't you?
We also utilize other local laws.
What their
within
number
the
was?
area. Spencer's, is 100,000 as well.
Okay. That's information that I didn't have.
So when that was out.
Plus the other thing that we
Public hearing date
did,
for the season.
well, that I found when I was looking into it, is you don't want, I mean, you do want to recoup costs, yes, absolutely. That's part of it, but you also don't want to have it so crazy that it prevents people from building and you lose revenue and you lose population density. So it's a fine line.
Yeah.
but we have to make one. We have to have a line somewhere.
Draw your line in the sand and decide.
So, all right, so we're all set on that. Any other new business? Anybody got anything else? If not, I think we're done.
you move adjourn.
I'll second it, sorry. I know.
Aye.
All in favor?
Hey, Rob,
It's everything.
Oh,
kind
I'll
of
give you a
standing,
copy of this. Just a second.
kind of been standing one right
You got
now.
this, Kevin?
Plumber, you gotta come out. We have some pizza here before one of the meetings.
Yeah,
I
for
hate to
sure.
get paid in your ass,
They,
but
Or
there's
maybe
part
put
of my
something else in
driveway,
there.
the, past my
Yeah, I'd love
driveway.
to.
I
there's
cooked
some
everything
there.
there now.
So I've been home, it's just,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not,
I've used
so it's
it
hard
last
to mow
3 weekends.
before,
I've used it
but
all
now
weekend.
it's like, I don't know how to tell you, it's like my house closed.
we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty much between where the mailbox is and where the, that bamboo is starting to grow, it's that, it's
Put them in a
like,
big grill.
there's a
I
ditch
got this one recipe. I use.
behind my mailbox ends,
Yeah.
at one
You
whole
put them in, I might
section,
put
you
a
can
lid over it
see.
and cook it and then last
Yeah.
half hour or so.
I'm almost telling you, I see you extend the ditch all the way down to that
I know, I
stupid
think
hole at the
about
end of the road.
400.
Okay, I'll come up there and look
Yeah,
at
I mean, it's not, when you get time, I mean, I don't want
Yeah,
you
'cause,
sitting.
I mean, when we do pizza at night, it's up to about 7 or 8 degrees to do pizza. And then after we're all done, it cools because I'll cool it up. In the morning, I'll make frittata or something.
Still
and cast
pretty
iron.
hot.
Yeah, it's still 400 or 500 degrees in the morning.
wow, that's unbelievable.
So,
I'm kind of, I was wondering when that was gonna go. You know?